So how do you write content when you know nothing about a niche or topic that you're writing about? The best advice I can give you guys is, because I do this myself, I've got websites out there that I know nothing at all about. For example, the Forex market, I've got websites out there for that, and I know nothing about it really, just the basics because of research that I've done to write content for them. So this is how I go about it. I'll get an actual pen and piece of paper, and I'll write down a heap of questions and things that I personally would like to know about that topic. And then I would do some research about it. I'd look on websites like Yahoo Answers or Quora or other question and answer sites and see what other people are asking about that niche as well. So chances are a lot of the questions that you've written down on that piece of paper, there's going to be questions very similar on those sites. But you'll also find other questions people are asking. And I always take note of these because then when I'm writing my content, I can have a look at those questions and I can go, okay, I'm going to find the answers to each one of those questions and write an article about that. So that's one way I come up with ideas and how I sort of learn more about a niche that I'm writing about. Another one is, you can go on websites that are already ranking or websites that are already up and have a look and just see what sort of content they're writing. Have a good read of it, like actually read what they've got. You might learn something yourself from it. Type in questions into Google and see what results come up. Do a bit of just do some research. It's sort of like going back to school and you're doing a project for school and you want to actually do your research, write down notes, and you're trying to present this project to your teacher to see if you can get a good mark. But basically, what I do all these things, and then when I'm going to write my article, I'll have a look at the top. So say for example, I'm trying to write an article for how to train a Labrador dog that continuously barks. I just thought of that because there's a dog barking in the background. But so I'd go on Google, I'd have a look at the top, say 3 or 4 results in Google, and then I'd have a look at each page and I'd think to myself, well, what sort of content have they got on there? How can I write something better than what they've got? And then I would, do a bit of a draft of the article that I'm going to write. While I'm writing, I would just write. I won't stop and go back over things. I'll just, I'll look at other bits of content. I'll look at the notes that I've taken down, and I'll just try and write as much as I can. I won't worry about any mistakes. I'll just continuously write until I've finished. Once I've finished, I will then go over it and I'll read through it and I'll edit it. That way, like if I see a mistake or I see something else I can add to it, I'll just add to that paragraph, or I'll add another paragraph to that section and make it longer. So that's one thing that I do. I always look at those top results as well for that search term, and I think to myself, how can I make something that's better than these sites? Because I want to rank higher than those sites when people type in that keyword, and I want people to actually read what I've written and learn something from it, and then buy something that I'm recommending. Okay, so another thing that you can do is go on YouTube and watch videos. A lot of people learn from watching. I'm one of those people. Like I'll watch videos if I want to learn something, and I'll see what that person's doing, or they might explain it better than an article. And then I'll take notes as well. I'll write down those notes. There might be a few key points that these that someone's talking about in the video, I'll write that down and I'll go, okay, I'll explain that in the article, and then I'll go from there and see if I can write an article about what that person's been talking about in the video as well. Another thing that you can do is go on there and don't copy other people's stuff. Whatever you do, never copy anyone's stuff. You can go in there and get ideas, and sometimes I'll rewrite other people's stuff and make it a completely new article that's 100% unique. But looking at other people's stuff, it'll give you ideas, and you can sort of, while you're writing your stuff, you can refer to other people's articles and then go, okay, well, I'm going to do this for mine, but I'll write it different and do it in a different format. You might also, as you're doing the formatting of the article, you might add better images. You might do, make it more easier for people to read. It might be broken up more. There's a lot of things that you can actually do. So here's a bit of a template that you guys can use when writing articles, just to help you with the whole process. Basically, you want a big heading that grabs the attention of the visitor. So like when they first land on the page, they can see the heading. You want to make sure it's big and bold and tells the person this is what you're looking for, sort of thing. So say if they typed in dog training for Labradors, you want to have that heading say dog training for Labradors. If you want to learn more, read this article. Sort of give them a bit of clickbait, if you want to call it, and more or less encourage them to read the rest of the article. And in the first paragraph, you want to do that as well. You want to give them a first line of text that grabs their attention and gets them to keep reading. So that might be something like, my best friend's dog got put down the other day because it kept on barking, and I would hate if that happened to me because I love my pet, blah, blah, blah. And this is how you prevent that from happening. That sort of grabs their attention a bit because it sort of hits an emotional thing, and hopefully they continue reading. And after that, you want to introduce yourself and tell them what the article is actually about. So in this article, I'm explaining this, this and that. It might be a review. This is my thoughts and opinions on this product. You can dive into that sort of stuff. Then I'll tell a story about, if it's about a product, if I'm doing a product review, I'll tell a story how I found the product, why I looked for the product in the first place. It might be something like, so I was on Facebook the other day and I seen this product, or seen this dog training course, and I thought to myself, wow, this looks like it actually really works. So I thought I'd do a bit more research on this, and found that there was 300,000 other people that had success, blah, blah, blah. But tell a bit of a story and suck the reader in to continue reading about what the rest of the article is about. And in that article, I always say, like keep reading, or I'll say I go into detail about this a little more in the rest of the article, or just sort of give them something that they can more or less think, well, I've got to keep reading, like I need to know more about this. So make it informative and entertaining as well. It's got to be engaging. Just try and write your articles as though you're talking to your friends and explaining something to them. That's the best way that I can explain it, because that's what I do. I'll picture one of my friends and I'll think to myself, right, well, I'm going to tell him this, and I'm going to go into detail. I might even think of things that he'll be asking me or she'll be asking me, and it might be certain questions, and I'll go, if you're wondering about this, well, here's why, etc., etc. And then at the end of your article, if it's just a general article, you can recommend a product. You can say, right, well, I wrote this article because I found this product that really solves this problem about the product, about the article that you're talking about, and then you can drop your affiliate link into that. You can also drop it wherever you want throughout the article. I don't recommend putting your link in there 500 times, but just drop it in there three or four times max, and then have a conclusion and wrap the whole article up. So if you write 200 words on each one of those little key points, that's easy 1,000 words or more. I mean, if you guys are doing reviews, then think about how a person's come to your site. What did they type in to get there? Obviously, it's going to be product review type keywords. So you've got to put yourself in that mindset that they're searching for answers so they can make a decision whether they're going to buy or not. Don't try and sell them the product. Just tell them about the product. Give them a real life example. Do a case study if you have to. Give them a bit of an experience that you would have if you were following the product or using the product or whatever. And that way, people will see that you've actually tried it, and they will make a decision whether they're going to try it or not themselves. Another thing that helps with things like that is good pictures, before and after stuff, or using like actual photos of you using it, or if you haven't got the product, just find images of the product and talk more about it. But I've always found that if you can provide some sort of proof that you've used it, or some sort of proof, it will increase your conversions immensely. So that's just a quick video explaining how I write my content. Try and make it engaging. Try and don't write like a robot, because a lot of the articles out there that you'll read, it just looks like a robot's written it, and they're very boring and probably sounds a bit like me talking on these videos. But you want to try and make it as appealing to the reader so they keep on reading, and they even in your articles you can even ask them questions so it gets them thinking and keeps them reading. So it might be like, have you ever taken your dog to a dog training event? Well, last time I went to one of these dog training events, my dog actually ran off and ran through the paddock, and I couldn't retrieve my dog, and it ended up being one big disaster. If you want to prevent something like that, then read this article, because after 3 weeks of training, my dog is now trained like a work dog, something like that. You get the point. So that's how you guys can write articles for your websites, even if you do not know anything about them. It just takes a little bit of research, and it's all a matter of just getting started and getting some content on your sites. You can always go back and tweak your articles. There's no rule against that. I mean, if you've written something and you're starting to get blog comments on your articles and people are saying, well, I don't understand this or I don't understand that, you can always tweak and add to your articles over time. The best thing to do is get stuff on your website and get into a routine of writing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Any questions, leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks guys.